Welcome, 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 my lovelies. Welcome back. I hope you are all well. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. So this is part 2 of the Italian hillside villa, which I am enjoying immensely. I was going to say immensely enjoying. One or the other. Who knows? So yes, so I've been wiping my eyes and my face because I've just come in from outdoors. I had the house outside because I've been sanding one of the walls on the plasterwork that I did using the lightweight filler. Very, very lightweight it is. And it obviously sanding it leaves a fine powder just blowing in the air, and that would really be a not very good thing to breathe in. So I've been wearing my trusty mask. It's I use a proper one, not just a paper mask, but it's a proper one with I can't remember the number of it, but it's one that does the extra fine particles, or rather stops the extra fine particles coming in. They're not very comfortable to wear, and you to put your glasses on, you've got to try and wedge them in, and your glasses are all cockeyed and whatever. But it saves you from breathing in the dust. And being an asthmatic alone is not good. It's not very good. But to anyone with normal breathing, it's not good either. But it did the side of the house within 5 minutes. If I'd used bits of sandpaper, it would have taken a lot longer. So what we're going to do is we'll dive in. I'll just show you the wall that I've just finished sanding. I have painted it as well, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, the finished effect. So it's not white plastered anymore, and the bricks don't look so bright against the white now because it's not white. And Nigel's just come in through the door. Hello, Nige. He's just sitting looking at me. So I'll show you that, and then I'm waiting for other walls of plaster to dry, so I can't sand those or paint them at the moment. But what I will do is start on the front of the building, on the ground floor, around the outside of the doorway and everything. I'll start putting all that together. So I'll show you where we are. So, oh, here's Nigel. Come on, Nidge. Oh, there we are. Hello, baby. Look, he's come to say hello again, everyone. You hate that, don't you? Don't you just hate it? Hate being loved, don't you? Hey? Oh, he's purring again. Your ears are very perky today, aren't they? Right, let's put you over there on the bench, and we'll bring the viewers over to see. Actually, as one of you commented, which is very true, he's very similar to the brick colour that I've used for the stonework on the outside of the building where the plaster's crumbling off. So let me take you over there and let me show you what I've done so far and what I'll be doing next. Now here we have Nigel demonstrating how near he is colour-wise to the stonework. You can't get in that box, Nidge. It's only 2 inches deep and there's things in there, so you can't get in. Sorry, boy. He does love getting in boxes. Okay, so here we have, I don't know how clear it will show up on the camera for you. I haven't finished with the stonework yet. I'm going to dry brush a lighter colour over the top because I want them a bit older, a bit more worn looking, and not quite as bright. But the plaster work is dry and I've painted that, and it's not properly dry yet, as you can see, but I shall leave it to dry. And it's 2 different shades of this colour, a lighter and a darker, and also I've added in a tiny darker shade in one of the colours and then sponged it all over. But it's not actually dry yet, but you can see hopefully the The plasterwork looks really old and really, I think it looks absolutely super. I'm so proud, so pleased of it. Proud? I'm quite proud. I've never done this to the outside of a house before, so hopefully when it's like this all over, it will look quite good. So right, I'll just move the house around out of the way so I've got space, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the front of it. Now I'm working on the front area of the house. What I'm doing really is just going over the white plaster to cover that up with the lighter colour first of all, and then I'll put the darker tones on top of that. But really, actually, I didn't realise how difficult it was to look at what you're painting and try and hold the camera right at the same time. But just to give you an idea, I'm just, oops, see, as I'm watching what I'm doing, then I'm not realising where the camera is pointing. But I'm just gradually sponging with the brush and rubbing in short directions, and just gradually, I don't want to go over the door with the solid colour. I'm just going to basically mix the colours together and leave white areas there that I can go over in the whole thing again, and it will cover up in the darker areas, and gradually just build it up. So I'll do that right down round here to the whole front, and then go over with the darker colour. And now, as you can see, I'm just going over with the darker, it's only a slightly darker shade. Oops. Making sure I dab over the white areas that I left behind before. And basically you're just building it up gradually in thin layers. And also, if you dab it on like that, you don't get brush strokes like lines, because obviously it's a small scale. It's not a real house. So if you had big brush marks along there, they would never have done that in real life. It would have been completely out of scale. So dabbing it on like this just makes sure that you don't get those long marks. So everything's on a smaller scale. There we are. Okay, so the outside walls of the house are more or less done. They're all painted, shaded, the plasterwork has dried, everything. I will add little bits on the walls as I go along, just build it up, but the main body of the work is done. For that, I've still got the windows to paint and put together. I'm going to make some stuff as well to go on those areas. But before, I'm just going to let all the paint dry on the outside of the house. So while I'm waiting on that, I don't know why I went like that then at all. Don't know why I did that. Who knew? Who cared? So I'm looking down here because I'm going to bring the camera down and show you when I'm putting together the outside of the house and what I'm going to do to that. In my head I can picture what it looks like, but we've got to get there at the moment. This is the before rather than the during or the after. So I shall move the camera down and I'll show you the work at the moment where I'm at and what I'm going to do to it. How exciting. Okay, so this is the majority built at the front of the house. There's going to be wood covering over here and sloping down with that. Then there's going to be another long piece of wood there that goes in front of the other side of the house, the left side. But this is the section that goes up to the front doors. So you would just step up here step up the stairs there, and the front door is going in there. So this is the side of the house that just sticks out a little bit, the bit that I altered to fit better, or for the design that I wanted. So what I'm going to do, well, you can do several things. It's it's not my house, but if it was your house, you can do what you want with it. You could paint it, you could cover it in paper carefully that looks like brickwork or stones or whatever. You could do all sorts. What I'm going to do is, well, actually, I'll tell you first of all what I'm going to do first of all. These stairs here, in fact, let me turn it round so you can see. Turn it round this way. There we are. You can see the stairs proper there. Stairs. Stairs is the name for the whole thing, obviously. But there's different names for different parts. So if I get a pencil here, there's the riser. The riser in the stairs is the vertical surface that goes straight up, that you step up onto. So the bit going up, that's the riser. The flat bit that you put your feet on is called the tread, basically because you tread on it. So the riser rises up. The tread is what you tread on, the horizontal piece, which is fairly basic, fairly straightforward. But if you can see what they've done here, they don't make, I'm guessing they don't make stairs to look like they're on the outside of a building, which this is. But these are basically made, they're exactly the same as the indoor stairs that you get. So they've got this bit on the edge there that sticks out over each step, and in my eye you wouldn't have that on the outside of a house. The only way you'd have that at all, I would imagine, is if you tiled all the stairs and the tiles stuck out a little edge from the edge of the stair there. But even over time that would start breaking away if it was real tiles. But normally these are squared off completely, so they've just used indoor products for the outdoors, and they haven't gone the extra mile and designed outdoor ones. So this bit in here, basically all I've done is to cut the same thickness of wood as the bit sticking. Oh, and the bit sticking over, in case I haven't mentioned it, I was going to, and then I think I forgot, that's called the nosing. Nosing, that's right, the nosing that sticks over the edge there. It may be these words may be different or different words in different countries, but in the UK this is all what it's called. So we wouldn't have this nosing on the outside stairs. So I've cut bits of wood exactly the same thickness as the nosing sticks out, and I'm just going to slot them in and glue them into place, therefore making a completely flat surface, square surface. You could do that, which I'm doing. You could just get a saw and carefully cut the nosing off, but it would then actually make the stair narrower to walk on. And I like the depth that the tread is. I don't want it any shallower, so I'm going to fill in the hole below it, the nosing, and I'm just going to glue those into place, and I'll do that down at the bottom as well. So I'm just going to get on. I'll glue these bits first of all, get that done, and then we'll carry on, and I'll let you see what I'm doing with the rest of it. Right, now, okay, so that's the risers fitted to the underneath the nosing of the stairs, and you'll see now that they're just square. They just come up and along, up and along. There's no nosing sticking out, which is what I want. And then if we bring the ground floor round to face the front, you can see there's a couple of stairs down here, and I've put some wood there for the rising to cover that up, and then I'm going to put one along there. But looking at this, the way the whole structure is built, personally I just didn't like this this gap here with this wall, the stairs don't come out and wrap around it, and they don't come to the bottom of this stair either. Hopefully I'm close enough to the camera. It's hard when you're filming, you can't really see, because I use my phone, I can't really see how close up it looks until I see it on television when I look when it's after it's uploaded. But anyway, this little bit here, I just wasn't happy with it. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is fill that in, basically. So if I glue the riser on first, just to make that flat along the front. I'm using the Gorilla Wood glue. It glues extremely well, and is great for any kind of wood or MDF. So, and it will stand the test of time over the years as well, which is what we want. So I shall place this in. Sorry, my hand's in the way at the moment, but if I push that along, you'll see that I've done it straight along to the edge of the step here. And then if I grab these little bits and put some glue on, I can fill that space in. A bit underneath, a bit on this side. Okay. I don't know if you on the video if you can hear the clock on the wall there ticking away. I find that really relaxing. So I'm just putting a little side bit there against the edge there, just to flatten that off, and then a little bit on to go on the front there. I can actually apply the glue to the step now. Yeah, I find the clock very relaxing when I'm sitting here on my own and John Boy isn't here. There we are. There, so I've just cut the bits of wood the same thickness as the stairs, so it all will blend in, and that will dry very firm and solidly there. So it just all looks like one, proper solid stair there. So let's move that out of the way. So I'm just going to let that dry. I'll do something else off camera while to other bits of the house while I let that dry. Or I may even make a cup of tea. Who knows? So right, okay. So I'll let that dry, and then very exciting. I'll show you what I'm going to do with the stairs and with this floor in here. I'm not sure yet, I may do 2 different treatments, and now speaking of risers, I do have another idea which will add to it again. So I shall get some bits out, have a look at them, and then decide exactly what I'm going to do there, and then we'll carry on and do it. Okay, so I did in fact go and make a cup of tea. Cheers, my lovelies. John Boy is at home now. He's weeding part of the garden because it's a lovely sunny day and he's in the mood for gardening. So he may be in and out at some point. So yes, so what I'm going to do first of all is to continue the plaster work on the walls of the house. I'm going to put plaster work on these 2 walls. because they are all outside of the building. So this, I have to say, this plaster or filler has been absolutely excellent. It really does the job well. What I have done as well, I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it's going to help, on all the wood, all the MDF, for the whole body of the house on the outside. I did some, got some PVA and watered it down and painted all the wood with it, and let that dry, so that anything then that's damp that meets up with the wall, it might help it, because it's already got a sticky dried layer on the wood. It may help it to stick even better. But this is actually for wood anyway, so it should stay on as it is. But I just thought I would do that extra. Any extra things you can do, just to give the house a longer life, you know, expectancy, then the better. So I will just carry on and cover this. I'm going to cover both sides, and then I can paint this the same as the house walls. So okay, so that's been put on. I'll leave that to dry now. I'm not going to touch it. I'll take this outside and I'll knock all this foam off. I'm saying foam. It's like it feels like polystyrene. It's so light and fluffy, but it is the filler that I'm using. As you can see, it looks like a badly iced Christmas cake. Or a well-iced Christmas cake if you want the snow effect. I remember my mum doing that years ago. So yes, I'll oh, and also, although you won't see it when the house is together, I'm doing all the other side of the wall as well, so that when you take this away from the house, you will still see it. It won't leave bare wood or anything. But as I say, when you're looking at it in situ, you'll never be able to get close enough to look round there. But that's okay. So I'll leave that to dry off, and then I'm going to sand it down and paint it, and then we'll carry on with the next stage. I'm so excited with this. I can't wait to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, now this video is in fact being filmed over days, quite a few days now. After gluing the sections together on the front of the building here, I left those overnight to dry, so everything was solid. Then all the fresh stuff that I've put on, all the pieces of wood, the plaster work here, that was all left overnight when I finished doing this last night. And then I also applied some pieces of foam board and weighted those down, put weights on here and let that dry overnight as well. So I've come out again this morning to carry on, and I'm just in the middle of trimming off the foam board. Here we are, it's coming off nicely. And then I shall I'll just tidy this up along the edge, and then I shall start and peel the paper off, and then I'm going to water down some Mod Podge, apply that round the sides to seal that, and then that's ready for putting the more plaster work on, because that would be the same plaster work as it is on here and the rest of the house. And I think maybe before I put the plaster on, I shall start laying the floor in, and I'll show you what I'm doing for the flooring. But I'll just trim this up. Like so. And then put that down, and then we'll peel some paper off. It does very satisfying peeling the paper off the foam board. In the beginning, as you probably remember, I really thought it was going to come off like wallpaper in little pieces, lots of scraping, but it actually comes off in one piece, which is very satisfying to see. There we are. That's those. That's fine. So as I said, I'll get some Mod Podge watered down. I'll paste that on, leave that to dry, and then we'll carry on. And I'll put the flooring down on the main floor. I'll leave the steps till last. I've got another idea for the steps, but we'll do the flooring next. Right. Cheers, my lovelies. Just stopping for a little 30-second break. Well, I have bigger breaks than that often. I stop for lunch. Okay, so what I did do in between clips here was to go outside and put my proper mask thing on, and I've sanded the walls downstairs here on the inside, outside, and just smoothed those off, and they're ready for painting. I just thought after it, if I lay the floor in first of all, then when I do get round to sanding these walls, there's going to be a lot of dust to brush off. So I just got those out the way. So they're ready to paint now. I could paint them now, but I'm too excited. I want to get on with the flooring, and it can all be painted at the same time. So we'll do that. We'll do that next. So for the flooring, oh, and also, as I said earlier in the clip, that this was now a following day, and the days do go on, so the video is made over several days to allow for drying and things. Last night, as I've said before in other videos, when I go to bed at night, if I'm working on a project, which is 99% of the time, I go to bed and I'm thinking about what I'm doing the following day, and I'm decorating. So last night in bed, I was peeling the paper off these walls. I was putting flooring down, making all that, painting it. I was sanding these walls, painting those, and doing the steps and everything. And then when I finished doing all that in my head, I started again, and I started peeling the paper off and laying the floor. And that's how when I explain that, that's how it goes. So that's what I was doing last night in bed for half the night probably. I eventually fall asleep, and before I know it, it's morning again. But obviously I'm one of those people that don't need an awful lot of sleep. That's for sure, because very often I see the time is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then I fall asleep and I wake up in the morning. So obviously, and I can carry on the next day. So I'm very lucky that way, I have to say. Also last night, to do the flooring, I realised we hadn't got what I needed, which was egg boxes. And I'm going to tear those up, and I'm going to make the flooring from the egg boxes. I could use a printed paper and just glue that on. You can get plenty of different patterns, like photographic looking paper, but I want to do this. It takes more time, but that's what I like doing, is building up things myself when I can. Sometimes it depends on the customer or the client, or my own houses. It depends what I'm doing. I may think, well, this is what I want anyway. It's just paper. It's a look. And we go along with that, and also what the client wants as well, and how much they want to spend in their budget, and that all sort of comes together then. But with this, I've decided to do the egg box flooring. So I didn't have any egg boxes, so I ran down and bought a dozen eggs at our local supermarket. So I have the boxes to do the flooring now. So I shall just pause the camera and move it down, and I'll just start on that to show you how I'm doing it, and then I'll carry on and finish it. Now, okay, so with the flooring, first of all, already previously painted a watered down PVA on all the wood on the outside of the house and the outside of this. So that was done days ago, so that's dry. And now I'm going to apply some PVA. I have a litre, I buy PVA in litre containers, and they're a bit heavy to open up and tip out. So when I empty this old bottle, or nearly empty, I just fill it up with PVA, and it's easier to use than using a big litre container all the time. So I'm just pasting this on in small areas, not the entire thing, because it will be too dry by the time I get down to it. So I'm just giving that a layer of PVA, which is perfect for egg boxes. It sticks down very firmly and very well. And then we're going to paint over that, paint the egg boxes, and then we're going to seal them with Mod Podge as well, to stop them being damaged by anything. It makes them more wipeable if you get anything on them, if you've got Mod Podge down first. So I'm just tearing up bits of egg boxes, and I'm doing them sort of randomly. So it's random. It's rough shaped rocks that's been that the path has been made out of, not rectangular bricks or anything like that. So these were just put in at random, and they're just all more or less sort of like a jigsaw, you know, just putting bits together and just leaving small gaps in between. And then when I've laid all this down, I can go over with tiny bits of egg box if I want to fill in tiny little corners here and there. But you're really just tearing up, just mush it all up so it just squashes it and flattens it. It's actually, instead of trying to use it as flat as possible, it's actually better if you just mush the paper up. Is that a right word? It's a word. If you can say it, it's a word. If you do that, mush it up, then where all the creases are, that all adds texture to the flooring, which is absolutely what we want, is plenty of texture. So, and they're not too big. If you remember, you know, humans would have laid this flooring down. Humans, rather than perhaps aliens, I don't know. Who knows who laid this floor originally, and who cares? But yes, I'm just going to lay those down and just lay them nice and neat-ish, but random shapes will make it not so neat looking. And just tear bits off. So as I said, don't make them too big because then it's oversized. And you can make, I'm going to put little ones in between, so it's a random sort of mix. And this amount here, this is a nice amount just to cover. I suppose that's about 3 inches, 4 inches by 6. So that's a nice area to cover, to take your time to lay this before the glue is too dry to lay anything. I find that works well. So I shall carry on, take that off, I shall carry on pulling these about and laying them down, and then I suppose the next clip I will have everything laid down, and of course then I'll have to leave it to dry. And when I do that and I say, right, now we'll leave that to dry, then I switch everything over, move everything out the way, bring in the next project or next video project that I'm working on, and carry on videoing where I left off from that project. So hopefully it all looks like one thing has been dealt with at a time, but just for people that might be interested in how YouTube works or how we use it, that's what happens. I overlap videos. I'm actually also in the middle of videoing John Boy's house that he's doing at the moment. So that will be up and coming as well. When I've got enough footage together, then I'll release that, put that video together, and sit and do that, and then release that video. Now the egg boxes, if they're not completely flat, they'll tend to want to curl up slightly as they're sticking. But as the glue's drying, when you press down on them, because the glue's getting drier all the time, they stay stuck down as you start pressing down on them. Just go back, but just keep an eye on them. Don't just lay the whole lot and not touch not go back to the first one, so you'll find that bits are curled up in the air. And that wouldn't happen with stone. Trust me. So before anyone starts getting bored, I shall pause the video and carry on and lay this floor in. Or you can see, I can lift that up, you can just see I'm just starting to put that down. So I'll carry on and then I'll fill spaces in between, let it dry completely and carry on with another video. It's all go here at the Rich Miniatures workshop. Okay, I just wanted to say before I carry on and finish this off, excuse my hands, they're getting covered in glue, bits of glue, and drying up. They're not usually as bad as this, but I do use hand cream every night to keep them soft, although I diverse. Yes, when I'm putting the egg box or the egg carton pieces over the edge of the stairs so it looks like solid rock there, I just put it on, push it into shape, sorry I'm going out of focus, score it slightly with the scalpel or the X-Acto knife, and it helps it bend. If that doesn't stick, then I just lift the flap up where it's coming unstuck and add a tiny bit, tiny drop of super glue. Any kind of super glue does, as far as I'm aware, but just to dab on the inside of the paper there and then push it back down over the stair, and that stops it peeling up again as it's drying. So yeah, so it just makes it easier going over the stairs. At the moment this whole thing looks really messy and awkward looking, but once it's all glued on and then all painted and finished, it won't look like egg boxes anymore. Hurrah! So I just thought I'd point that out in case anyone else is going over stairs and trying to keep the egg cartons from coming back up again, because they do have a memory where they've been moulded into shape, the fibres, so it's harder to keep them to stay flat when they just want to recurl. Even when you've mushed them, as I say, they still tend to want to start pushing back into shape. So that's just one way of keeping them in place. Now, at the end of the day yesterday, or rather last evening, I finished in the evening sometime, I glued the piece of wood section on the front there, and put the foam board on. I let that dry and then I peeled the paper off and put the plaster work on. As you can see, I've left a nice little chunk there that's been broken away, just to give it a nice effect there to go along with the rest of the house. And also this piece of wood goes at the end of this, so it goes along the front of the house, and this is the left hand side of the house and this is the right hand side, so the stairs come down here and then walk along past the whole house before you walk down the hill into the village. So as you can see, I've done the same here with this bit of wood. It would only be glued along here than here, and glued onto that end basically, but lifting it up and down, that's bound to break away at some point. So just for the extra security, I've drilled the holes and put the dowels in, and I'm going to measure this exactly here, mark the holes along here, and drill the 2 holes there, put some glue on it and put the 2 together. So I'll actually, I think I'll work out whether to do that now. If I did that now, then I would just be moving the whole thing to paint. Yes, I'll put that together, and while that's drying, I can just leave it in situ and start painting the walls. So I'll take this outside, drill the holes and glue it together before I start painting the walls. Now I think the sun is coming in and I can't block that off at the moment. I don't have a blind, so it's putting this in shadow. I'm hoping it's not too much in shadow when I do the video, when I edit it. But as you can see, after I finished plastering or filling the walls, they're sanded, and I've painted the brickwork and I've painted the filler, the stucco. I've painted that as well, and now I'm just going to do. I've picked different colours, similar colours to the rocks that the house was built with. So I'll leave those there, and I'm just going to paint stones at random. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4 different colours, and then I'm going to blend over the top of those as well. So I'm basically just painting the pieces of the egg cartons, so they look like whole stones, and I'll just do it randomly and then use another colour, then another colour, and I might blend over the whole thing. This sort of thing, doing the walls and flooring like this, it's a case of building up. So you just build up the effects that you want, and obviously you can change colours when they're dry. You can mix colours together to get in between shades. You can do basically what you want with it, but I'll just do this to suit the building itself, to be sympathetic with the style of the house. And that just means going over. It's just a time consuming thing, but it's very therapeutic. Normally in between filming, I just put a radio on, or a CD or whatever, but don't do it too roughly. Well, I don't. I like to keep it reasonably neat, so I'm not going on to each stone. But as I say, as you go over each one with different colours, it all just starts blending in. So I shall carry on doing this. In fact, John Boy's out today visiting family, so I may go and put the kettle on and yes, make a cup of tea or a coffee even. So I have to make one now and again because it just keeps your hand in, doesn't it? And you don't lose the skill of making your own cups of tea. Do you know my family, who I'm talking to now? I only say these things to you because I feel I know you really well, and you know me really well, and I like to pretend that I was going to say I'd like to pretend that John Boy does most of everything when he's here, but he sort of does. Oh dear. I know, if he was here right now, he'd be saying something with his dry wit, his dry sense of humour, and he would even make me laugh. And going down the stairs, if you remember that these are whole bricks, or whole stones rather, so if you paint one on the top, then it goes over the edge. Obviously paint right down over the edge, and the whole thing will make it look more real when it's finished. So I shall carry on with this and then gradually start blending it all in. The stonework has worked really well. It's sanded down, so it's semi-smooth, but it still feels rough, like stucco would feel when you if you actually stroked a wall. in a hillside villa in Italy, perhaps. I'm not sure how many walls out there have been stroked, but it is the sort of thing I actually do to feel texture and things when without. So I have been known to stroke a building now and again, apart from just taking a photo. And I'm sure in this country that's not illegal, so I'm sure I'm okay doing that. It's probably illegal somewhere. Now, just to let you see the progress so far, it looks very solid, very sort of bitty at the moment. But don't be disheartened if you're doing this or having a go yourself. The more things you do to it, the more it all blends in. So this is the not the before or the after look, it's the during look. So just mosey on along until you've covered all the pieces of egg carton, and then you can start building colour on top of this. Some of the egg carton or the colours, you can still see some print through it. That's fine at this stage. The colour isn't on thick enough yet, but I would let each layer dry. I might put the hairdryer on this because it's very solid now, the way it's glued and dried. So I may blow dry it and then carry on with the next layers until we have the finished effect. So, okay, now I've gone over the whole thing with another colour on top and then sponging it off at the same time, because I want the stones to look very worn and very, I don't want them bright, but I do want tones in there, different tones of creams and reds. So it's just a matter of going over where you see fit. Just carefully. I can't see it properly myself, but just gives you an idea of the different shading in the rock. Okay. Okay, now I've mixed up a colour, just a light colour to go with the rocks. I don't want white because it wouldn't be brand new white grouting in there. But I need to work quickly because this is quick drying. Now just mix this in to colour the polyfiller, or the grouting. I've put a thick layer of Mod Podge over the top, and that has sealed all the egg cartons. So now I'm going to just start putting this on quickly to fill all the gaps in between. And then I'm going to go over it with a wet cloth to wipe off the excess and see what that first looks like. Now I'll do this quickly. To begin with, it looks a complete mess, as it always does. But as you work it, you can wipe off the grouting off the top of the rocks, plus any that's left at all will just give us slight colour, added colour to them. Very pleased with that. So I shall carry on. Excellent. And the water doesn't soak in really, because these are covered in Mod Podge, so it's sealed them. Excellent. Very pleased. So I shall just carry on with this. It will take a little while, so I'll get it all finished, and then you can see the finished effect. Hurrah! Okay, so I am absolutely thrilled with the way this has come out. Always the relief is when I'm in bed at night and I'm designing and picturing colours and the textures and everything. This is why I can't sleep, because I am anxious about that until I actually do it, and it's what I saw in my head. And this is exactly what I saw in my head, which is brilliant. I used all warm colours. It's a Mediterranean villa, so all the warm colours, burnt siennas, yellow ochres, raw siennas, a tiny dab of black, just all mixed together. And then the grouting, the fillers I used, I mixed in a mix of colour, a yellow ochre and a white, just to lighten it so it wasn't too dark. So the grouting comes up a bit lighter than the stones. I don't think you can see it properly on here, and also I think it feels almost dry, but I'll leave that now just to finish drying. But I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It looks old, it looks worn, it doesn't look like it's just been built. It looks like it needs a good clean, but that's worn rock for you. That's what it looks like. And all the joins where the stairs met each other, that's all filled in. So it's all, for me, perfect. So now the next thing to do on this section here is to cover the stairs. Again, that could be several different procedures you could use, different things you could put on it. But a few days ago, I was chatting to our friend Martine, and she saw something in the garden that she was talking about. So I'll take you out into the garden now and show you where, because of what I did, show Martine, this is where I got my inspiration from. And then of course I couldn't sleep until I worked out how I would find that and what I would do with it. So let's go into the garden and I'll show you where I got the thing to do the steps, the inspiration. Yeah, if we come out here, we'll see a sort of very rare creature in the wild. It's called Jonas boyus.
Doing everything else.
Hello, John Boy. Oh, there's Nigel. Look, just perfectly timed. Yeah. Nigel. Oh, he's gone up onto the garage roof next door. Nigel, Nige, we can see you. Right, okay. As I said, let's take you round to this part of the garden. Oh, John Boy's doing weeding and things. He's got tools and things all over the place here. The weather has actually got really warm again. The weather people did tell us on the television that it will get warmer. But here, if I can show you, oh, we have a lizard on the wall. It's very old. It's got a broken tail. It was much brighter colours, and it's all the colouring is wearing off it. It's very, very old looking now. But that was extremely pretty when we bought it, and we got that in Fuerteventura. So very Mediterranean looking, and it's a lizard, as you can see there, climbing up the wall. And our friend Martine was looking at it the other day, and she said she thought it looked fantastic. Just the idea of it, the mosaic or the different coloured tiles, and it does look very, very Mediterranean. So let me go back into the workshop and I shall show you why that has triggered something off for me. Okay, so after seeing that, or after thinking about it, half of a night in bed, thinking about the story, this Mediterranean look, the tiles, also link in with the couple who own the property now. I spoke to my client about and asked her about the residents of the building, and it's a married couple, a husband and wife, that own the building, and they're making the ground floor into a shop of sorts, and then they've got living quarters above. But they like travelling as well, so they've travelled to various places. One of those places has been Morocco, and apparently they both loved Morocco. They stayed in Marrakesh and all around the souk there, the market, the Marrakesh souk. And looking in there, they found some fantastic Mediterranean Moroccan style tiles, which is absolutely perfect. It ties in perfectly with the house. The actual, they found these tiles. If you look, it's got the flowers have got like a mustard blue colour and a mustard colour, which blends in perfectly for the with the mustardy colour on the stones outside. Absolutely thrilled to find them. They were over the moon, the couple that owned the house. So the wife said, yes, we must have. So the husband bought. He does what he's told, apparently. No, they both bought the tiles. Now the tiles, when they found them, they weren't brand new like these are. And these are actually really good. You buy them on big cards, and they're plastic as well, so they don't get wet and fall apart or anything if they get wet. You can break them off into individual tiles or strips, or do what you want. You can cut them if you want them smaller. So what I'm going to do is cover not just the risers, but the treads as well. So the whole steps will be these tiles all the way from there up to the front door, and on the area outside the front door is all going to be tiled with these Mediterranean style tiles. So there we have it so far. There's a lot there's other bits and pieces that I'm going to be doing and adding. Of course, I've got windows to put in. I'll be doing that next. Windows and doors. But I ended up with the tiles that being so bright and white, they would have looked hideous being so brand new. If you've got little effects, worn bits, dirty bits here and there, it just makes it look a bit more real and not so much like a doll's house. So you probably can't see it really up close, but with the tiles, I actually got a fine grit sandpaper. It's actually a 400, so it's really quite smooth. It's not rough. And I just placed the tiles down on the bench and scoured them a little bit, so it just started wearing some of the colour off, so it wasn't so bright. And then I sponged over a colour first of all. I did use the tea and it didn't work, which I assumed it wouldn't because these are plastic. So I guess the tea would just dry and disappear, which it did. So I just mixed up a couple of shades of brown and cream acrylic colour with water, so it was very runny, and then just used a tissue paper, scrunched it up, and a paper towel, and just dabbed it on all over. I let that dry first of all before I sanded it, so then I sanded the whole thing so there wasn't any proper marks that you could see were put down on purpose, so it just makes them look very old and very worn. I'll be filling in tiny little gaps here and there, tiles at the end where you can see at the end of the path there. I'm going to put a little tile at the end there, but I'll be, as you can see, there's grass beginning to grow around the edges of the building. They're going to have to start weeding at some point, but until then we'll just leave it, and it will grow more as the house builds. There'll be more added to it. So I just thought I would finish here, or I could go on another whole day just titivating this piece up. I can't keep taking so long. But anyway, I hope you like so far. I hope you're pleased with what I'm doing. And please do comment if you have any comments, then I'd be very happy to hear them. As always, please keep safe. I'll say goodbye for now. I think it's probably a longer video than usual, but I hope you made it to the end. I will now sit for so long editing the whole thing, which, believe me, is far much harder work than just sitting watching it once through. So think yourselves lucky. Love you and leave you. Take care. Bye all.